All right, let's focus in on some of the details from the Finance Minister's mini-budget speech this afternoon. Enoch Godongwana highlighted the perils of Eskom's massive debt problem, and he confirmed government will take over a significant portion of the 400 billion rand debt. The Finance Minister says once the debt takeover is finalised, Eskom is expected to focus on plant performance and capital investment. Take a listen.
To ensure Eskom's long-term financial viability, government will take over a significant portion of the utility's 400 billion debt. While the selection of the relevant debt instruments and the method of effecting the relief is still to be determined, the quantum is expected to be between 1/3 and 2/3 of Eskom's debt. The debt takeover, once finalized together with other reforms, will ensure that Eskom is financially sustainable. This program will allow Eskom to focus on plant performance and capital investment and ensure that it no longer relies on permanent bailouts.
Let's discuss this now with Energy Analyst Ruse Moleshe. Ruse, thank you so much for joining us. So 1/3 to 2/3 of that 400 billion debt is going to be taken on essentially by government. How will that help Eskom?
Good evening to the viewers. Good evening to you, Sally, as well. That will be, I think, a good thing for National Treasury to take on some of that debt. It will send a good signal to the investors in Eskom. Firstly, in terms of government being serious about managing Eskom debt. It will also be helpful in terms of the interest that Eskom has been paying on this debt, which is huge. And then there will also be room in terms of operations for Eskom to do what they need to do, which is quite essential for Eskom to operate better.
All right, so you think it's a good idea?
Yes, I think it's a good idea. It's long overdue.
So isn't it just another bailout?
I mean, Sally, as you know, that 95% of electricity right now comes from Eskom. So we have Eskom as a monopoly in the industry. The IPPs do play a role, but at this point, it's not as significant. So we have no choice as a country, as an economy, but to make sure that Eskom works so that our economy works as well. Unfortunately, that's where we are today.
So, I mean, my understanding, and you're the expert, but is that they basically take the debt from Eskom's books and put it onto government's books. Doesn't that then worsen our overall economic picture?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we still our government will have a heavy burden on them. But in any case, Eskom is a state-owned enterprise with the government as the only shareholder. So at the end of the day, bailout or helping Eskom, but in terms of Eskom's balance sheet, there will be an improvement. Hopefully, an improvement within Eskom will be an improvement within our economy, which in the end, hopefully, will help also with government. But yes, government, it will be government debt at the end of the day.
So you mentioned that it's good news for Eskom in that its interest will go down, so it'll be paying less every month. And he said today that it's going to allow Eskom to focus on plant performance and capital investment. Does that simply mean that there's going to be more money for doing the things that we desperately need to keep our power stations up and running?
Yes, remember that Eskom is largely, in any case, reliant on National Treasury for many of the things that they need to do in terms of the funding that they've been getting from National Treasury. And so National Treasury helping Eskom basically means that Eskom is relatively free to do what they need to do in terms of operations, which is a good thing, yeah.
So what would you say should be the priorities for Eskom? Now they're looking forward to a little bit more ease with some of the debt being taken off their shoulders. Where should they focus their energy?
I mean, the priority for the country really is security of supply. There are other priorities in terms of environmental concerns and all of that. So I would say that Eskom should concentrate on making sure that the fleet that they have operates better. All the constraints they are saying they've been facing with respect to procurement and all these challenges, at least they should have some room to be able to do that. We hope they will be able to do that. Obviously, the devil's in the detail. We don't know how much of that debt National Treasury will know that in February next year, in terms of how much of that debt will be taken on by National Treasury. But as Eskom has been saying that they are lacking funds, they are lacking resources to be able to do procurement, to be able to do to strengthen reliability maintenance within and get original equipment manufacturers that are tier 1 types of original equipment manufacturers. We hope that they will focus on those things.
Thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. That is Energy Analyst Ruse Moleshe.